Hello and assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Kashif Kamran and welcome to the session 3 on Look Inside the SBL December 22 Examiner Report, and the focus today is on planning. The examining team is trying to tell students the importance of planning in an SBL exam as a critical success factor if you want to pass the paper. Let's see what the examining team has to tell us about planning as a critical element for SBL exams. Now, in terms of planning, when you investigate the December 22 examiner report, this is what the examining team has to say. Candidates must also spend sufficient time on planning. When the paper is as big as 4 hours, a careful planning really counts. We know post June exams, from September 23 exams to be precise, the paper will go down to 3 hours and 15 minutes as the case with all strategic papers in ACCA. But currently up to the June 23 exams, it's a 4-hour paper. And importance of planning cannot be denied in any paper, whether it is 4 hours or 3 hours and 15 minutes. A sufficient time should be spent on reading and planning. And an ideal rule of thumb is that 1/4 of your exam time goes on reading and planning. And that 1/4 really contributes towards writing a very good answer in the 3/4 time you have for writing. But a lot of time the students are not bothered about that investment in the 1/4 of their time in reading and planning. They just want to rush towards answer, and that ineffective planning results in an ineffective answer or a very bad answer. The quality of the answer is not very impressive to help you pass the SBL paper. So sufficient time on planning, right? 1/4 of your total time to ensure that their answers are structured logically. Number one, you should structure your answer logically with the right format. Which format is the examining team asking for? Structured logically means that you're putting appropriate number of headings. You're putting reasonable paragraphs to explain every heading. You're trying to ensure that every explanation is about 3 to 4 sentences long. And that can only happen if you have read through the exhibits very well. You have picked points from exhibits very well, and then you can develop each point into sufficient length with an appropriate heading. And a heading for every matter you are writing is a structured logical answer. I will be speaking more about the structured logical answer when we go to the professional marks under the examining team report for December 22. Number two, if you plan sufficiently, it will ensure that your answers are balanced in terms of depth of discussion required and the breadth of the points, because you've read through the exhibits. You have copy pasted the material from the exhibits into your particular task in the reading and planning time, as we were discussing in the previous session, analyzing the exhibits. And that will really help you with the depth of discussion. That will really help you develop your point, evaluate your point, explain your point in the context of the case, which so far, so forth, is the most critical thing. We came across that in the very first aspect, the most competent student, integration. We came across that even in analyzing the exhibits, that you need to blend the information from the exhibits into your answer. And still the examiner is speaking of the same aspect in planning, depth of discussion. And planning will ensure that depth of discussion comes in your answer, the breadth of point come in your answer, because that's something very critical. So if you want to develop your point, and we know a very valid point in SBL is like 3 to 4 sentences long, not more than that. So 3 to 4 sentences, and a sentence is where you put a full stop, right? Sentence is not like 3 to 4 lines. I'm not saying 3 to 4 lines. I'm saying 3 to 4 sentences, which could be more than 3 to 4 lines, because a sentence is where you put a full stop. So that is the benefit of planning. Third, covering the most important points. So if you have planned well, you have picked the relevant points from the case study, from the exhibits, which will help you write on the important points rather than on the journal points, rather than on something journalized or your bookish knowledge about the topic coming into the answer. No. So important points that would be prioritized. Fourth, not padded out with material that does not address requirement, not padded out with material. A lot of time, the student just pad up their answer with unnecessary things. They just pad up their answer with the knowledge around the topic. You just fill up the answer. Pad means to fill up the answer. So you just write a 2-page answer on mobile technology, but that's the knowledge of mobile technology you read from the examiner article, or a cloud technology you read from the examiner article. You did not connect the mobile technology to the business organization. You did not connect the benefits of the mobile technology to the business organization. Rather, you wrote the journal benefits you read from the article. Yes, those journal benefits can be adapted to the organization and in the context of the organization to make it a very relevant answer. But if you just pad up your answer, you just fill up your answer so that the answer looks very healthy, but that healthy answer is useless because there is only knowledge in your answer. There is no relevance to the case study. There is no sync to the case study. There is no integration to the case study, and you're not impressing the marker. You might be impressing yourself with a padded up answer, but that padded up answer is not impressing the examiner or the marking team. So a lot of times students do that. They just pad up their answer so their answer looks big or bigger. But of what use if it's not impressing the examiner? Fourth, not making the same point 2 or more times. If you have planned and you have effectively planned, you will not be making the same point again and again. If you have not done proper plannings, you will lose focus. There is a chance you might write the same point again. So if you want to ensure that one point is written once and very properly explained, ensure that there is a proper planning. Examining team would not like a point to be repeated more than once in your answer and not overlapping. So your point should not be overlapping. They should not look like the same. The explanations of the point should not look like the same. Every point should be explained differently, uniquely in the context of the case study. So this is where the importance of planning is for you, for all of you, and this will really help you pass. So please ensure that 1/4 of your time, of the total time you have in SBL, is spent on planning, reading the exhibits, analyzing the exhibits, and what benefit you get out of the day is right in front of your screen. The final thing the SBL examining team is telling us about planning is, when taking the exams on computer, it may be useful to copy paste the task requirement into the word processor. And that's what I have been guiding in my webinars, even in these sessions as well, that firstly, you copy the task in the word processor, you know what to do, then you start reading the exhibit. And for every task, if you get any relevant information, suppose a task 1 is about cloud technology and there is something in the case study about cloud technology, so you copy that relevant area of the case study into the task 1. So that will help you formulate the answer later. So copy paste the task requirement into the word processor. You must have seen my webinars I've been doing on the YouTube. Candidates then do not need to keep looking at the task, because if you're not copy pasting the task in the word processor, you might need to go back and open the window of the task again and again, and that will spoil your time. And it may help to remain more focused on the task. So first, put all the tasks in the word processor as I've guided in my webinars. You can watch them. My September 22 webinar is on the YouTube channel as well. I've guided this technique. And then you start reading the exhibits. Wherever you get relevant information for every exhibit, just keep copy pasting into the relevant task. And after 1 hour, you will have a beautiful looking word processor. And then that is where you need to fine tune the word processor into the next 3 hours to produce an excellent answer. That will help you avoid repetition. That will help you ensure you're not just padding up your answer with irrelevant points. And that will really help you cover the most important points first, and the depth and the breadth of the points as well. So this is the third aspect from the SBL examining team. And I hope you're gaining confidence and you're gaining the importance of reading these exam reports as well. So this is it. Your tutor, Kashif Kamran. Wish you all success. And I'll be back with the 4th session from the SBL examining team. Take care. Goodbye and Allah Hafiz.